name is Sean Quinn with Tech Train Solutions, and this is my buddy Jake
Jake Price
Price.
with Jake Price Does It, YouTube DIY and comedy stuff, I guess, if you want to consider it funny.
Yep, and today we're going to talk about who holds the purse strings, understanding the money in our world in the building trades, because we have between union, non-union. We'll break down real stories, challenges, opportunities in the skilled trade. There's so many jobs available, Jake. I've been talking nonstop on my channel, and I look at LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, PA Career Link. There's so many jobs out there, and there's coming to become more in the future with Amazon, Google,
Yeah.
along with the other AI facilities that might be going up, which our power would be more expensive, but their jobs coming, and they're out there. The opportunity is, but this one, we're going to talk about all these different jobs, the pays, where the money is when you do the bidding. And I think you told me about an awesome bidding where you can figure out how much your remodeling will cost. We'll go cover that.
Yep.
So, I mean, with you, you've been looking, right? And you've seen what's out there, what's available.
Jobs? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
So
with
right
seeing,
now I'm under a background investigation and drug test process right now for a new job, but with the company that I would hopefully get in with, I actively have 5 different applications in with the same company. That's how many they're hiring. I know the company that I'm going for, to utility, I applied for 5 positions and I
right,
I missed a wave. I missed a giant wave that came out before I started applying also. They're re reassessing and putting out more job applications in January and March.
mm,
So this is just one company that
man,
has really taken off and expanding and trying to get ahead of attrition, which is a great move also. You want the new
right,
guys to learn from the old guys before the old
yes,
guys retire.
mm-hmm.
So there is hundreds of jobs in
And
anything you want to do, it's out there.
and that's what I was talking to my class about. I said there's jobs high voltage. Half of them want high voltage. Most want residential. One actually, like I told you before, she wants to work for a theater company as an electrician. I thought that was so cool. I never heard of that. I've heard of crews before, but not specific electricians. I know in movie sets,
Mhm.
aren't they? I think they're called best boys, or I think that's what their term is. Does electric work on movie sets. But that's what she wanted
I
to
don't
do.
know.
Just
With
saying, there's
with
so many opportunities.
I don't know much about that, but I do know I don't know how interested she would be, and I know um, there's companies that travel nationwide and actually international. They set up
Yeah,
they set up events for like the PGA Tour, the
right,
majors. They set up for raves and concerts and outside
right,
shows, like all like this the structure, the aluminum structure, and all that.
right.
They set all that. It's a big rigging companies that do that. They travel and do that.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's one
they
of the
but they
jobs
have
she
teams.
wants to do.
They have teams of electricians to
Mm-hmm.
set up all the lights and all the bells and whistles that are attached to all that rigging. So there's a lot of cool work that you could travel, dude. Like per
Right.
diem, travel, all expenses
Mm-hmm.
paid. Like, there's some really cool jobs out there for young single people. Yeah,
Mm.
even people that like to travel and do that with families. I'm in a position where I can't. I'm kind of nestled in, and I don't want to leave. But
Yeah, I was the same way.
20,
Mm.
if I was 22, 23, man,
If I was single, I would
I
have
jump
done
on a
that.
plane.
Yeah.
I think they set up for like the Augusta National. They set up for um, golf
Right.
events in Florida and California. But then they did
Really.
one company in particular did a big rave out in India, and then
Okay.
flew over to Thailand, and then over.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, there is some really cool opportunities out there.
That
So
sounds
if
it sounds
she's
amazing.
serious about that,
She
if
is.
she's serious about that, that's a big path you can go down, and it doesn't have to be local theater. It can be
Mm-hmm.
giant
She
venues, and then you get free admission to the event also.
she's her first year. She's a senior, very intelligent, and I'm like, you'll go
It's cool,
places.
man.
Every time I give her a task, she figure out 3 ways in less than, I would say, less than a week and a half. I still had journeyman in my when I was IBW. Did not know how to do 3 ways and 4 ways. I was teaching them on the job. It was
There's
so
people where
hilarious.
I work now that people that are where I work now that have no idea, and they don't care to learn.
So let's begin. First part, I'm going to talk about the money trail in construction. I'm going to start at the
Sure.
top. Every construction project begins with a budget, right? I've budgeted jobs as a person done my own business. I've always been okay. I've always been either a little too high or a little bit too low, but still made money. Usually they're set by developers, right? You get the land and stuff. You get the owners of the companies, general contractors. It covers everything: materials, equipment, permits, insurance, and yeah, and labor. But here's the thing: labor is always the most valuable, right? Most biggest variable. Have you noticed, right? You've been in non-union sector. I've been in non-union sector. I've been in union sector. The wage can be up and down. It's at the part of the budget. If you notice, whoever does bidding, sometimes one company will win because they're lowest bidders because of the labor. So general managers and project executives decide what the labor is needed, how long it takes, how much they're willing to pay. The decision trickles down to us, the workers, the foremen, and tradespeople, including the unions. We've had during our plant where some of our contractors will hire more apprentices, which is illegal, to make the job cheaper, and one of them's at our plant that does that. So let me
Yeah.
talk about, let's ask you more about the money trail, right? General managers, project executives, give more insight. You've been there, you've been in the non-union sector, you probably saw the bidding
Yeah.
process. Describe a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, I may not be the the best example for the non-union side. I was non-union for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had a great relationship with the company and everyone in there. I got treated
Right.
extremely well,
Okay.
paid very well. So
Mm-hmm.
I was in the I was on the upside of non-union,
Right.
but we had a whole inside. So the other thing too, like we were non-union, but there's 80 of us. It wasn't
Wow.
a small mom and pop shop. This is one guy that started in the late 70s, and it took off
Yeah.
into this snowball effect that
Let me ask you, is it 80 all the
is cool.
time? 80 all the time, or do you lay them off like a union does? They'll lay people off.
Uh,
Like most union
Now you
contractors only have truly 5 or 6 people and they lay off the rest. That's what happened to me a lot.
never lays off.
Wow. 80 people never
When he
lays off.
when times would get real tight, he would cut loose ends, like
Mm-hmm.
people that were really slacking off or people that he'd given too
Right.
many chances. Like those would be, I wouldn't say layoff. It was
Right.
just when times got hard, he'd get rid of the bad eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
I think not 90% of the time, everybody was working 40 hours a week that wanted to, and then there were
Right.
Saturdays involved, and it was like we had these big jobs during the week, Monday through Friday, and then we had small jobs that we'd knock out on a Saturday, Sunday. So he was
Okay.
making money here and making money here, and we're riding that wave with him.
Okay.
And which comes down to that is it was he went with the yes man. It's like, hey Jake, he called me on a Tuesday. Hey, can you work this Saturday? I said, hey,
Right.
yeah, man, I'm in. Sign me up. So he
Right.
asked me every Saturday.
But you
Every
got the
Saturday,
work
hey,
done
can you
too,
work
though.
tomorrow?
It's
I'm like,
not just asking, but
yeah, oh
you
yeah.
did the work. You knocked it out, right?
Yeah, no, it
That saves
wasn't
them
like I
money.
went and kicked my kick. Yeah, it wasn't like I went
Yeah.
and kicked my feet up and hung out. It's like we did. Like I'd be on a
Mm-hmm.
big job at a school Monday through Friday. Then we went to this
Right.
small manufacturing facility in Bridgeport, PA for Saturday, Sunday,
Okay.
and knocked out 60 lights. We like demo 60, put up 60 in a
Right.
weekend. So we were moving, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I worked all the time. Actually got my hours early and topped out and got my journeyman right after I finished school because I had my
Yeah.
hours.
Okay.
But most of the guys that I went through school with didn't top out till September. I got my card in the end of May.
Okay. Because
It was fast, but
what I've noticed too, right? Because I was in the union side. Some of the general manager and project managers, I'll be honest, some did bidding very well, and some didn't do
mhm.
well at all. They'd be
Oh,
like,
seen that dude big time.
yeah, yeah. So next thing you know, you have a big job and 4 or 5 guys on it, and you're literally
Yeah.
running the whole time to try to make that place money. And that's why. And then I talked to them, and I'm like, why do you keep doing this? He's like, Sean, we're competing against non-union. We got to low ball,
Yeah.
and hopefully we get extras at the end. Well, sometimes they do, and
Well,
sometimes they
so
don't.
so in that particular scenario, when it's union versus non-union,
Yeah.
the only time that should be the wages should be too far off in a bidding war would be if one can do the job faster than the other. Because if
Mm-hmm.
non-union is bidding on the same jobs as union, they have to pay prevailing wage. So either they're not paying the wage, which is a labor law violation,
Right.
or they're saying they can do it faster. That's the only discrepancy there.
Right. But the thing is,
So
was
like the co-
we were always told we're supposed to do it better, is what we were told. We weren't really
Mhm.
faster or slower, but we would technically we're supposed to be able to do it one time and that's it. You know, some people it takes a few times to get it right. Hate to say
Oh
we're
yeah, no.
supposed to
I
be.
say it again.
So I always get pissed when we
The company that I came from was
yeah.
it was the owner's name was the name of the company.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing, if he came out to site and checked in on us, which he did frequently, because again, it's his name, it's his insurance, it's
Right.
he had 30 or 40 company trucks. He had his own
Uh-huh.
scissor lifts and his own excavators and genie boom lifts. He had anything to do a job, he had it. So he was frequently out on the job site checking, making sure that we're not screwing around,
Right.
which I appreciated. As long as you're working, you got nothing to hide. So he'd check in pretty frequently, and if he didn't like how something looked, tear it out and start over. He's like, I don't care if we're losing money. This is my name. He's like, this is
Oh,
gonna look good.
I love that.
So I say it really drove home. So I didn't get into the trades until I was 21, but it really drove home quality and efficiency. So it had to look good and to be done quickly. So it really drove home a good work ethic. So on top of my dad driving that throughout my childhood, the company that I worked for, it was this is my name. It's gonna meet my standards. It's gonna be fast, efficient, and it's gonna be top notch. So it was a lot of fast paced learning, and in the moments ago, you got to tear that out and redo it. It's like, oh man. So you're bummed out for that 1 second, and then you're all done. It's like, man, this does look really good.
Yeah.
And then if it looks good, most of the time it like the wire pulls better if your bends look good. It's easier to um, the whole job's just easier. I can't even go
No, I
piece by piece.
understand.
The whole if you
When you
got good
do it right,
quality and you're organized, the whole thing's just better.
you're right. I agree with that because the quality helps you feel better. You know, yeah. I love when I have a nice clean job. It
Yeah.
just makes me feel better. You know, and I agree
Hmm.
100% with that. I deal with the same thing. Sorry, I'm adjusting now. Your camera. But no, I that's what I wanted to talk to you about because as a, at the time when I'm union, right, I believed everything I was
Sure.
told, and union's good in some ways because that way it keeps you know, you got a collective bargaining. You're supposed to work together when the union work when
So
it works when it works.
so that's why I said I'm not really a good example for the non-union. I had a great upbringing into the trades, and I was treated very well by a very reputable
Yeah,
company
right.
that he was going to organize in the 90s, and Local 98 actually messed that deal up.
Oh, I understand, and
He
I'm
was
not saying that you know.
he was at the table. He was at the table with 654. He was at the
Right.
table with 380,
Mm-hmm.
and he's waiting on Local 98. They all had an agreement. Local 98 came in and said, "We're not doing that. We're doing it this way." And my boss walked away because he was making
Mm.
a deal where he wasn't gonna pay the organization fee, because that's what a lot of people don't know is when you organize a non-union company to a union,
Yeah.
you have to pay them to organize. So that's a cost out of pocket just to get started.
Yes.
And then they
Yes.
can deem, and then once you're a union, they can deem whoever's fit for that job. So they can lay your people off that have worked for you for years. They can lay them off and put a new crew in. So he was working
Yes.
out a deal that he wasn't going to pay the organization fee, and he wanted to guarantee work for his guys at that time. I think for like 5 years with no layoffs. So he was trying to really set everybody up.
And I understand that
And
because I they try to do
654
that to me
agreed.
too. Okay.
Hmm.
Well,
So
98
everyone was
at the time was
sat down at the
tough.
table. Yeah.
They were very
Well,
tough
they
back
came
then.
down. So 654 and 380 agreed to it because at
Hmm.
that time my former boss had a ton of work in Chester and Westchester. He was huge in Delaware County at that moment, and so they had an agreement like, all right, we're
Yeah.
cool with this. Local 98, John Dock and Timmy Brown came down
Right.
late to
Right.
the show. I said, nope, we're doing it this way and doing it this way. My boss was
Okay.
like, well, I said, I'm not gonna lay off 30 people.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
doing that.
Well, the thing
Ever
is,
since then, that was
yeah.
mid 90s, I think 1996.
Okay.
Local 98 had hammered him with lawsuits, all dummy lawsuits.
Right.
Even when I was there in 2013 to 2019,
Okay.
they hammered him with dummy lawsuits and just tried to sink him in court. And he self-represented, and I think in 2014 alone, he beat 37 cases self-representing himself because they're all dummy cases. It was just
Wow.
eating up his time in court.
Yeah.
But they tried to sink him after that.
Well, this is what I seen that too, because I had to pick it good contractors when I was an apprentice, because you get forced to do that, and they were good contractors, and I felt bad because with the unions, their health care is not that great. Well, at least where I came from, hopefully it's better now. But the health care was an HMO, right? Their pension plan's great. If I stayed in,
Well,
it
the
would have been
pensions are almost
awesome
gone
pension.
too.
Well, the unions
Yeah,
still
for the
have
old
theirs.
timers, they're dropping off. Yeah, well, they're
No,
dropping off big time.
that 654 still has theirs. Their
It's not
pension.
great.
Yeah, okay. All right, you have friends who
Yeah,
are,
it's
you
like
probably know more than me.
they're all
I
coming.
left
Yeah,
17 years ago, so I don't remember that.
yeah, if you would have stayed in, you could be retired right now. But everyone I talked to, I'm like, man, I wish, because I had a chance to get in there before
right.
Kimberly Clark, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a bad conversation with their business agent, and it put a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh,
So I respectfully declined the whole scenario, and I went a different path. But
right.
I was talking to them. I was like, hey man, I should have just bit the bullet and did what I had to do. Like, hey man, it's pension's not what it's all cracked up to be right now. I'm like, what? Like,
Not
yeah,
when
it's kind of going downhill.
they couldn't maintain work when I was there. You know, I got laid off like 4 times in 1 year, and I was a hard worker. I just didn't play politics. It just wasn't my thing. Like where we
Yep.
just left, right, or you're leaving, kind of had to play a little politics there. I just don't do that. I just like to be fair with everybody. I like everybody. You know, I remember one
So
election,
that's my
someone
thing
lost,
is
and they kept talking smack about the other side, and I got mad. I said, "Dude, they're brothers too. Why are you getting all like that?" I used to
yeah.
hate that. Got laid off a week
That's like
later.
my thing. I talk to everybody.
Yeah,
Um, I try to keep a good relationship with everybody, but I don't play the politics game.
yeah, me neither.
We have a contract, we have a policy. Everyone should have a work ethic.
Yeah, and
It's hard for me to see outside of that window because it's like, all right, well, you're not doing your job. Someone wants to write you up for it,
right,
and you want representation. Like you have to do your job. You have to work.
right,
It's a lot of entitlement that comes with some of it. It's like, dude, like you don't
yeah.
deserve representation. You're not doing your job.
Nah, I remember that one worker. I don't remember his name. Is Dominic, and the union came to me because I was getting annoyed. He's like, Sean, we still gotta represent the shitbags. Excuse my language.
You're
I'm like,
you're
I'm a
you're
union brother. You should represent
you
me and get him to straighten himself
yep,
up, because I'm doing work for 3 people right now, and he's
yeah.
sitting there looking pretty. I was so
Was
angry.
this the same person that Joe Derrickson didn't like also?
Yes,
The
same
same
exact
Dominic, same
persons.
Dominic?
Yeah, same person that Matt kind of, Matt was awesome, and I think that made him, a little bitter working that
Yeah.
situation, because I wouldn't do his work, and then Matt would do it for both. And I said, Matt, don't do his work. Let him do it. And Matt wouldn't listen, and he got frustrated. Because
Yeah.
you could have done that, because you could find other work to do. That way you didn't have to do it. But that's the thing. I mean, unions are good for the sense of, you got collective bargaining. They fight. They're the ones that helped us get the 40-hour work week. They helped us get the vacations. You know what I mean? Before all this, it was almost 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you got hurt, they just threw you out like trash, and you were done. And the family had to figure out how to feed the table. It was just a bad situation. So unions had a purpose, and they still have a purpose, if they just stop with the bull crap, like ours did. They got to
It,
stop
it,
with
it
that.
all started
It's
with
a brotherhood.
it all
Work
started with
together.
like the safe is a brotherhood,
Yeah.
safety orientated and fair
Right.
wages. That's how
And
it all started.
quality
It's like
work.
it started with a great background,
And it can
and it
be. So
became this
some
big
unions are good.
political. Yeah, and a
Some are
lot of
good.
it became this big political monster.
Right, right. And it's very frustrating. But the pay differences, because right now I'm looking at the wages, some of
Sure.
these, it's getting close, getting closer. Not as close, but it's getting closer. You know what I mean? With the pays, it's not exactly the same. Like I think 654, it's $55 an hour. We're getting 46. I know it's a big difference, but
Well, so
46 and I don't know.
I've had this conversation. I've had this conversation with other guys.
Yeah,
Um, the pay scale should be closer for sure.
right. It's getting
And
there.
there's a lot of there's it depends where you go.
Well, like my
So
what my
I could put it
I got hired at Kimber Clark, the guy who got me there, right? I was making I was going
sure.
down from $40 to 26 an hour dollars an hour, and he's like, Sean, you're working all year. You're laid off 5 times a year.
Yeah,
So ultimately, if you do the math, I made more money with the 26.
sure.
You know,
So
yeah,
where I came from, I was making 46
right,
um, with no layoffs. I took a pay cut down to 32 to come to Kimberly Clark, which I made up for in overtime,
right,
but as a pay cut. But like if you go right down the street, I'll just drop names because we're talking about the industry.
right,
Energy transfer.
right.
It's an oil refinery, in Marcus Hook.
Mm-hmm.
They start at 49. They're
Okay.
electricians, and they top out at 55.
Right. I looked into that
Brascom,
myself. Okay.
it's a
Okay.
Brascom, and I think it's considered trainer. I don't know what that's considered out there. I think that's also Marcus Hook.
Okay.
Um, it's another one. It's another refinery. They start at 48 and they top out at 54.
Okay.
I had a non-union company called Hvac Corporation. They're a like a specialized chemical company. They offered me $45 an hour to start. Non-union company,
Mm-hmm.
45 to start.
Wow.
Kimberly Clark starts at 38 and tops out at 44.
Mm.
So if you go up and down the strip, we're the lowest paid and
Right.
we have the most knowledge. 'Cause like if you go down energy transfer, they have an electrician and instrumentation separate. If you go down
Okay.
to Brascom, they
Right.
have an E&I tech, but they're not required to do as much as we are. If you go to Avana Corporation, same thing, non-union. It's an E&I tech, which is electrical and instrumentation. It's a
Okay.
crosscraft.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's we do more down Kimberly Clark than they do all the way down the road, and
Mm-hmm.
we're paid less. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, you should just be happy where you're at and happy you have a job. I'm like, well, I'd be a lot happier if I was getting the money that I'm supposed to get.
And sometimes their argument is that we make the what they call that the low end brand is why they argue sometimes. So because I asked that question too. They're like, oh, well, we make the cheap brand. What do you expect? I'm like, well, we're the one that keeps your machines running. You brought contractors in to keep it running. They didn't do anything. You keep calling us. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what they told me is because they make the cheap brand of their product line at our plant, and that's why they don't pay us. That's bull crap.
but
I
what the
think
other
it's
one
to
is
pay the
too that
COs, but yeah,
it's the cheap line of the brand. But when they took over, when Kimberly Clark acquired Scott Tissue
right.
in the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want Scott 1000. They wanted Cottonelle.
Okay.
Scott 1000 was the cheap hidden gold mine.
Yeah,
The
because
Scott
people know.
that's why
Yeah.
Kimberly Clark Chester only makes Scott 1000 and 1100. It's only Scott product toilet paper out of Chester,
Mm-hmm.
and we supply 55% of the Northeast. So this
Yes.
cheap second quality product that they have is the gold is it's the golden ticket for our region.
As
So
you're.
they purchased us
Yeah.
just for the name of Cottonelle,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh man, like this Scott 1000 sells. Like this is it's a
Yeah.
$1 billion product.
Well, like my coworker said at work, we're the cash cow. That's what he told me.
Yeah,
He's like, hey, Scott 1000 is the cash cow. They use us
yeah,
to make their other products better.
yep,
We're the
yeah,
cash
oh yeah,
cow, and we show it. But that's the
yeah,
difference between union, non-union. They got the pay. You would think the healthcare would be better, not always. They do still have a pension, but you said, if I'm hearing from other people, the pension's going downhill a little bit.
Yeah, I know guys that are iron workers,
Yeah,
painters. They're all slowly starting to decline, or
mm,
they're putting like higher stipulations on their, like not higher stipulations, but like there's like one of my buddies is a union painter, and
mm,
he was saying you need, I think it was like 55,000 hours and you can retire with your full pension. But
mm.
it's like dude, he's like, I've been in there for 15 years and I'm not even at 30,000 hours yet. I was like,
Wow.
that was like, he's like, that was the big thing was like, I see a lot of guys like, oh man, you could hit this by the time you're 55. He's like, dude, like, I'm not even close. He's like, I'm
Yeah.
looking at 65 to retire with that full pension,
Because when I was
which is
in, I
still
think you
good,
needed
but
to do 20 years. When I was in, I think you needed 20 years of full time to start collecting something with the WW.
yeah. So you
That's
figure even then, so
I don't know what it is
20
now.
years,
I don't know
it's
what it is
2,000 hours per year. If you work
now.
40 hours a week, it's 2,000 hours per year
Hmm.
times 20 years. You're 40,000 hours.
Yeah,
So it's not far fetched to work 30 years and go from 20 to 50, retire 55. That was a golden number. It's like, oh
yeah,
man, got it.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing with these different pays, though, right? It makes it harder for a person to bid a job. Just think of these skyscrapers going up, these buildings. Like our area, I just found out they're going to possibly put an IKEA here, which traffic's going to stink. But they got to bid that job, right? You got to think of all the materials as whatever trade you're doing and the labor, right? One of the worst things to underestimate is the labor. And you've been there. If you
Oh yeah.
underestimate labor, you're working your butt off to make up for that
I've
labor,
underestimated
and workers
I've
get burned
underestimated
out.
labor
I did too.
when it was my own job. I
Yeah,
underestimated. I'm like shit, man. Like I got to eat this job.
yeah.
Like I said I bid for a week and cost according, and I was like, man, I'm here for my 12th day in a row. I just lost my ass.
Wow. Well, Ooh. Well, I remember one
Yeah.
job in Clement Clark. It was the old yeah, what do you call that? Full prep before they moved. And
Hmm.
the one job they had nothing but apprentices there. Nothing but apprentices. You talk about spaghetti nest. It looked horrible. And I'm like, what's going on here? I kicked them out and I just ended up finishing it because it was that bad.
Hmm.
Because they were trying to save
Yeah, dude,
costs.
it's tough.
I think the highest apprentice there was like a third-year apprentice was the highest one in that job running it, right?
It's
Which
crazy.
back then I did that kind of stuff, but it was crazy.
Yeah.
And a job showed though. That's how bad quality it was. It showed. And a union man is supposed to be good quality. You're paying technically you're supposed to be paying. I was always told you're paying for quality, but that job wasn't the case. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, that was the
Estimating jobs tough, man. It's tough to estimating with manpower. You know,
yeah.
definitely want a
That's
pay
where it comes
raise.
down. Where
Okay.
so like those back to the original topic with with estimating jobs. The one
Yeah.
company that I had worked for, non-union, was really good because we had project manager, we had an estimator, and we had
Right.
engineers that would all kind of work together. And then
Oh, that's
what was really
helpful.
good about what was good about our team was if the engineers didn't know, like, hey, I got to get from this transformer over here
Hmm.
up and over across the wall into this junction box. Like, do you
Right.
think you could do that? Like, they would ask us, like, they're like, realistically, how long do you think that would take you? So there was a lot of collaboration from the field guy to the engineer to the project manager,
That's so
which made the
smart.
job easier too, because you knew every step of the way. Like, okay, they need this done in 2 weeks. I told them 2 weeks.
Hmm.
If we could finish in 10 days, dude, we're smooth sailing. We're
Right.
off to a different section of the job. We get ahead of time. 'Cause that's the other thing too. We got Christmas bonuses at that company,
Hmm.
so that reflected how fast we got the jobs done. We scrap wire. We didn't keep the scrap, but it went to the company.
Right.
But as you figure, there's company trucks, there's company parties, there's Christmas bonuses.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you needed money, like, hey man, like, hey Brandon, can I borrow 2 grand? Like, here you go, buddy. I'm like, that's
Right.
it. He's like, that's it, dude. He's like, I was like, all right, I'll pay you back. And I was like, how much do you want back? He's like, just pay me back. I don't want
Wow.
any extra money. I'm like,
That's
I was like,
amazing.
whoa, dude.
That sounds
But yeah, so
amazing. Unlike what we deal with in our workplace. Remember, they would plan these projects, and they start working, and next thing you know, it's so horribly done, and they're putting things in your way when they're finished. You're like, why'd you put it there? Oh, I didn't think it'd be a
Yep.
problem. I'm like, man, you just made my life a lot harder. Instead of a 15-minute
Dude,
job, it's gonna take 4 to 5
we're dealing with
hours.
this.
You're killing
We're
us.
dealing with this exact scenario right now. Is we got a brand
Mm.
new uh, piece of equipment in May,
Oh
and like, oh
man.
well, we just realized like to change these two belts, you
Mm.
basically have to take the whole machine apart.
Oh my
Or
gosh.
we have a track system. We can put this section on a track,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll just when you need to, you just unlatch it, and the whole piece traverses out. And he's
Man.
like there's four motors in there. There should be cables long enough to pull this section out of the machine. I'm like, okay, cool. Go through the whole meeting, the whole planning project with the people that
Mm-hmm.
designed and installed it. And we get out there and we're looking at it like, man, there's a junction box right in the middle of this
Mm.
with 12 photo eyes and proc switches that are all run to it. I was like, we got to relocate all this stuff now. It's like this wasn't even on the drawings that we went over for 45 minutes in that meeting. Like this company designed it and installed it, and they
Mm-hmm.
didn't even know they had a junction box there with so it's two cables from the PLC cabinet and
Right.
12 photo eyes and proc switches out in the field. They didn't even know that box was there. Like
My
this is
goodness.
your guys' equipment.
So when I was doing research, they said labor was the hardest thing to estimate. That right there,
Yeah.
no, that is poor planning, poor reviewing prior to a job, and not listening to your craftsmen while you're planning. That's what I said. They could have just came up to you. This is what we're doing. What do you guys think? And you would have saw that. You know what I mean? So what are they gonna do?
Yes and no.
They're gonna reinvent everything, or what are they gonna? Or you got to move
So what you
everything?
gotta so a couple factors. Um, every job has an unknown.
Right, of course.
So it's like you're taking a gamble. So you're like in a perfect scenario with a little bit of leeway that you can put in there in these estimates. This is everything goes good. You don't plan on bad foundation. You don't plan on
No, I
a
agree with you.
crushed pipe. You don't plan
Right.
on. There's a lot of stuff you can't plan for, and then a lot
True,
of
but
it.
you can walk the
Uh,
machine and see the junction box. I'm sorry. I mean, you could. I mean,
oh yeah,
when I was part of
but it
Liberty
also comes down
Project,
to.
I would walk the job with them and I would find things. Oh, I didn't see that, Sean. I'm like,
But
well, because you're not an electrician. And I saved, I
it
think
also
with
goes
Liberty, I
back
saved $1
to
million, dollars, 1.5.
experience.
Yeah.
It also goes back to experience and tenure and how familiar you are with the equipment. So like if you were to bring someone into my department
Off the street, like an
from like a tissue
engineer.
mill,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
or yeah, off the street, like, oh man, like
Mm-hmm.
what do we do here? Like, oh well, this goes to here and this goes to here, this goes over here.
Right,
But I've
right,
been in the same department on the same equipment for 4 years.
right.
I know very well. So if you brought someone in just as qualified as me, but not as familiar with the equipment, it's like, man, I got to trace this out. So that adds time. And then it's like, I know what my capabilities are. So
Mm-hmm.
if I were to tell you, okay, I need 4 hours to relocate all these cables and re-terminate, but you get another guy that I don't think is, no, I'm not being humble here, is not as good as me. I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
it might take him 10 hours. I just know that my rate of speed and my quality is higher than Joe Schmo. I know
Yeah. Yeah.
I know I'm better
You
without
know your
sounding
pace.
cocky here. It's just,
But you know
yeah,
your
and like
pace.
I
Yeah.
pride myself.
Yeah.
I pride myself on not. Again, it sounds bad, but I don't try to be the best, but I put myself on this high platform, this high pedestal of I'm going to be right up there with the best quality.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to talk about me like, oh man, we want this guy on our team. Like I want to be a part of that like, oh man, we need this guy. We want this
Well,
guy.
your name's
This
on it.
is a good team.
Your
Yeah,
name's
right,
on it.
exactly. And I
You
tell it,
know?
I had that conversation with our plant manager during our walkthrough the one time. He's like, man, this looks really good. I'm like, well, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
my name's on it. It's gonna look good. It's gonna work good. It's gonna last forever. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's all on me. So even if I'm not here, that's still my name on there. I did that.
Yep. Yep.
It's like so
And hopefully
everything I
someone
do is gonna
follows
be
in your lead
good
too,
quality. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be high quality. It's gonna look good. It's gonna work well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be done safely. I'm not getting hurt at work, dude. I'm not.
No. That's what I
Accidents happen.
keep telling my
I'm not going to do
students. Yeah.
something stupid
Hmm.
Yeah, accidents happen. I'm not going to do something stupid that's going to affect my quality of life.
No, no.
Not that guy. I
Because
used to be, but
you know
not
what the
anymore.
company does? Company finds a way to blame you. So I wouldn't even try to get hurt because the
Well,
company's
even
gonna
then,
like
so
it's your fault.
even
You know.
if you do go out of medical, you get 18
Hmm.
months and they can terminate you.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
well,
yeah. And I've seen it. But no, I was just wanted to because that's a good point. Because again, they're all talking about labor, and most of the time, your situation in your last workplace where you guys work together, that is the ultimate way to estimate. That sounds like an amazing way to save cost. By doing that,
yeah.
you're able to see things and help the people planning to, you know, yeah, like you said, plus or minus 10%. But when they have poor planning, you're not going to have 10 15%. You're going to have 20 30 forty
Oh no.
percent difference because you didn't see it. Like they did PCMC project and they put all these what do you call those vacuum things that get the cut off cut cookies, and they put right
Oh
over the
yeah.
conveyor project, where the conveyor, and now instead of changing motor and gearbox, you know, 5 minutes, you had to build scaffolding to get to one
Mhm.
little job, and
Yep.
it was a mess because he did not see it. You know, and that's all I was saying about estimating labor costs. It's a what do you call that? It's sometimes just a fabricated thing. You know, they blame labor costs. That's all I wanted to talk about. Sorry about that. I mean to
Oh
go on
yeah.
a tangent there. And
No,
it's one of my
it's
heinous
a
things.
valid point because it's one of the. I'm sure, and I believe he was probably when you first started. I think he was your level 5 in distribution in the DC.
Mm-hmm.
Was Truck Cryo.
Yeah.
As rough around the edges as that guy was, it's like remember one thing. He's like, this is a negative way to look at this. He's like, but it's like you being maintenance, you are an expense to the company.
Yes.
It's like
Yep.
so the machine and the operator are an asset.
Yep. They're making you money.
Maintenance is an expense.
Mm-hmm.
You're out here when the machine's broken and it's all eyes on you, and they're gonna blame you for the downtime. He's like, so remember that. He's like, they're always gonna blame you for the downtime, not how you fixed it. They're gonna say, well, we were down for 4 hours, we're gonna charge us to maintenance. It's like you didn't blow up that motor. You didn't run that bearing until it set on fire. He's like, that's not on you. But since
No.
you're maintenance and it's downtime allotted to you,
Yep.
you're an expense, they're an asset. And I think about that all the time, like, man. But that's also
He's
why
right though. He's right.
uh, well, and that's why contractors are paid higher is because they're providing a service for the
Mm-hmm.
company to make money.
Right.
We're maintaining a business. They're providing a new stream of income.
Right.
So they're higher paid. They're offering a service. We're fixing equipment. So it's also it's the black sheep.
So, question I have for you too, because you made me think about it. Looking at the future, we talked about AI many times. Talked about all
Yeah,
these jobs, right? Estimator, planner, general manager, person who makes the prints and stuff. You know, what do
sure.
you think in the future? Who's losing their job in AI at all that? Who might still have a job and who might be losing it? Because you know, you just gave me a
So
website how I can estimate my own job. So you know,
yeah,
what else do
so
you
I
think?
use HomeWise, HomeWyse.com.
Yep, put
That's
it
a
up
great
now.
platform for the average guy or small business owner that's unsure or whatever. You go on there, you can break down of go say, hey, I'm going to go to install. I'll go down to exterior electrical, outside GFIs, like stuff like that, and then it'll tell you an estimated amount of time, cost of material, and a cost of job according to the website. So it gets you in the ballpark.
Okay,
And then
installing outdoor light.
outside of that,
Installing
it,
outdoor light
oh yeah.
now. Average cost high is $195. That's kind of
But then
cheap
you can go
actually.
to
Must be a wrong
where
zip
you
code.
go
Let me put the
to.
right zip code on
Let's say you can set your zip code. Like sometimes that auto populates to
there. There it goes.
middle of USA. So like if
207.
you go, yeah, which is close. Like like especially nowadays, like it gets you in the ballpark. If you're
Yep.
running a brand new circuit and
Mm-hmm.
you're doing a switch and then installing the light and doing the whole nine, It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money, but if you're just swapping one fixture for another, 100, that's what I charge $150 to change a fixture.
Right. Okay.
I mean, obviously, and it sounds bad, like, but I've had quite a few conversations with friends that own businesses.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, like this is what my daily charge is.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, they're paying for your services and your expertise. If they knew how to do it, they would do it. They're paying for you. They're
Mm-hmm.
paying for your tools. They're paying for your like they're paying for everything. That's all your name. That's your insurance. That's your equipment. That's your experience. That's your knowledge and your tools. You come in where you see fit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
Like
why I'm
so, like
thinking they won't hire an engineer anymore, or they probably won't hire a estimator. General manager probably just go on the job, get the print, put it in the computer, and AI will just set up. How much quality parts you have. That's it. You're done.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
And it's not far. And it's so that's the other thing too, is like with AI and all the stuff that's out there, you won't need estimators. You probably won't need project managers. You probably won't need material coordinators. You probably won't need engineers. So there's probably 4 jobs, probably in 10 years or so, that'll be mitigated from the workforce.
Right,
Just
because it
like
says here.
ChatGPT,
Yeah.
yeah, I've used ChatGPT and Grok AI for like ChatGPT. Perfect example. I used it for a pool job,
Right.
above ground pool, residential.
Mm-hmm.
I was all commercial industrial, so a lot of stuff at like residential stuff I still don't know. So I Google it. I
Mm-hmm.
go through the code book. I use ChatGPT now. I go on HomeWise. There's quite a few
Right.
tools that I use, but ChatGPT is for like, are you doing above ground or in ground pool? What's the size of the pump?
Right.
Okay, run this amount of cable. Does it have to go underground? Yes. Okay, conduit and UF cable needs to be 24 inches under surface of ground. So it's
Right.
giving you all these code articles with it, and it tells
Okay.
you the size of the wire, the size of the breaker. You need a
Mm-hmm.
GFI. You need bonding for the pool. You need a ground rod.
Right.
It tells you everything that you need for that job. It gives you an estimated amount of time for that job. You're like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I live in Aston, PA, 19014 is my zip code.
Right.
It says you can upload a receipt from Lowe's or Home Depot and say, hey, this is what my expenses are. This is the zip code. What should I charge for this job? And it'll give you a low. You can ask for a low, a mid, and a high range
Okay.
cost,
So you
and
get an
it'll
idea.
put you it'll get you in there pretty accurately
Okay.
based on the
Because
time and material. It's
I'm seeing
wild,
it.
dude. It's like
I've seen the
I used it a
salary
couple times. Like I was like,
for
this is right on.
seen a salary for estimator. It ranges from 52,000 to 124,000. Imagine if AI takes that over, how much that company is going to save them. The small business owner or the
Yeah.
you know
Well, we figure some larger companies have 5 estimators. You're talking about around 500, anywhere from 250 to $500,000 a year.
they might have to hire like a programmer or someone
It's
that puts the information in, but yeah, it'd be a lot cheaper. You know, someone that
that's
does that.
that's the engineer's job. That's the
Yeah,
engineer's job.
yeah. So just think of that. They
They
save that
design it,
much
do the
money,
CAD.
man. Just these
Yeah.
jobs.
Oh, that's right. That's just one job. And then alternatively to that, the tradespeople, electricians, plumbers,
Yeah.
welders, whatever, carpenters,
Mm-hmm.
they can't go anywhere. AI
Nah.
can't build right now. I'll say right now because everyone's trying to put out these robots
Yeah. See that.
and all that. So at some point, I don't know if you've watched videos, it's pretty funny. Like the robots don't have an equilibrium or a balance factor. So if it's uneven
Mm-hmm.
ground, they just kind of stumble all
Bubble.
over the place like a
Okay.
little kid.
Right.
But alternatively, the CEO of NVIDIA came out and said that the next generation of millionaires is going to be tradespeople.
Oh,
And that's
that's nice to hear.
because they're saying that we're going to be somewhere. So once they start this whole AI upgrade in these facilities to generate the power for AI, which is
Right.
astronomical amounts of power that it needs,
Mm-hmm.
it is going to be, they're saying like a potential of a nationwide shortage of around 300,000 electricians, like
Okay.
100,000 plumbers. Like there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
massive job shortages or massive overtime needs for these facilities. So
Yeah, you're gonna burn
along
some
with the
workers out.
facilities, oh yeah, along with the necessary facilities and the maintenance on those facilities, you also need to upgrade the electrical grid. Our grid's not set up for that. So
Oh,
you're gonna
nowhere
have
near.
generation, transmission, distribution, the
Hmm.
facility, and the maintenance. You're gonna have 6 or 7 different aspects of just electrical to get
Hmm.
to that point. And then you still have plumbing, you have welders, you have iron workers, you have roofers, painters, everything that comes with building a building, you have that too.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to have a maintenance team for all that equipment also.
Hmm.
So for the foreseeable future, the trades can't go anywhere. There's going to be a shortage of trades. Doesn't matter how many people are in school right now, they're
Hmm.
they're predicting a shortage of trades. And like you look at some guys like Local 98 in Philadelphia, I think this pay rate's a little bit out, but it's like they're $71 an hour. So their base salary for a year is
Man,
142,000 dollar base with no overtime
my
is their base
goodness.
salary. So you
Mm.
figure it's not far fetched to become a millionaire with that. You figure work 3,000 hours a year, you're 250,000 dollars a year, and
As long as
that's
you
as
saved, right?
blue collar a
Yeah.
blue collar dirtbag, dude.
Yeah, like us. Well, that's
Well,
what
I
I
mean,
wanted
you
to.
figure even then, if
Yeah.
you're working that much, you don't have time to spend that money unless you're buying beach houses or a
Right.
mountain house, which is I think one of the Pico guys I talked to, he made a funny joke. He said that the electrical linemen buy beach houses. The gas division, they buy Pocono houses. He's like, so if you get in there, it's like you're either gonna be a beach house or you're gonna be a Pocono guy.
Oh, see, I like Poconos, but that's me. I like beach
I'm a
is
beach
okay.
guy, dude.
See, that's you.
I
I
love the
like the
beach. I
mountains,
love
but
the ocean.
my dad took me up to the mountains, so I got used to it as a kid. That's probably why I fell in love with it. So with that information, I want to talk about moving up the ladder, jobs available, right? So right now I have, if you count the students, I have 82 students in my class in both.
Sure.
And I would say 75% of them want to become electricians. I went to Thaddeus Stevenson last weekend on Saturday to check
Okay.
that out. They are
Great
full.
school.
They are full, and they have a waiting list. Really good school. I went there. I was very impressed. So right there, you have
Yeah, it's cool, man.
80 people, maybe 90 more in Thaddeus Stevens. You have 72 in the pipeline where I'm at. So right there, you have 100 and some odd just within those two schools, possibly coming
Sure.
electricians. With that, with you said 98 and stuff, because unfortunately 98, they only take in what 20 people at the most a year, and then 654 takes probably 10 at the most. Do you see any
I think the large
progression or movement for these guys coming out? Any availability? Because do you see any?
dude.
You said all this stuff, but they need the training. You know what I mean? I hate to say it. You know
Yeah,
how it
so
is.
so sure. Depending on kind of what field they want to enter, if it's whether it's residential
Yeah.
or it's commercial or industrial, or like the company I was commercial and industrial. We
Right.
did both.
Hmm.
Um, there's tons of outlets out there.
There are. Okay.
I'm frequently on LinkedIn,
So am I.
and Exelon's hiring.
Okay.
Um, Local guys down the street are hiring. There's people out there like so I'm in Aston, you're in media.
Right. Right.
Boothwyn, there's a company that wants to hire an apprentice. Like
Okay.
there's so many opportunities out there, and then there's also places that want to get a shop helper and they want an apprentice for a shop like shop work. You just be building panels and stuff
Sometimes
like
the best
that,
way to start,
or
because we hire summer
an
helpers in the
electrical.
union and they become apprentice sometimes. So yeah,
Yeah,
good way to
and then
start.
there's a electrical sign builder. There's a place in I think Marcus Hook. They want an
I
apprentice. Like they
saw
want
that.
people.
Yeah.
They want fresh minds that they want to mold into what they want, and that's the best way to do it is train them yourself.
So there's mobility, there's movement, there's possibility for
Oh,
great
dude,
pay, right? Because I tell
I
my
will say,
kids, go into trades, become a journeyman, and at least take like a business degree or some kind of thing. Because sometimes that person, I know where I came from anyway, they'll make them like the foreman, the project manager,
yeah,
you know. So I tell them, become a tradesman, do that, and keep the school, get that education. That way you can get the higher paying job, because a foreman gets paid like $3 or $4 more an hour. So there's plenty of
mhm.
movement up there. There's so much work. I just wanted to ask you what you saw. So that's awesome.
Oh, dude, it's unreal, and like especially with I know in particular the company that I applied for. I'll say that I applied for Pico, which is a subsidiary of Exelon.
Great company,
They
man.
they're they actively have I think right now the last I checked was about an hour ago. They have 62 positions they're hiring between the
62.
trades, yeah, between
Wow.
trades, engineering, co-op. Uh, they have everything. Project managers,
Mm,
directors. They're hiring everybody. But along
okay.
with that, they have several different branches of electrical. So like, I applied for um, a relay tester. I'll be
Mm.
switching to a relay tester, which is not backbreaking work, but it's essential work.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
so they
Because
have
remember,
that
our
team
relays failed at our
that they're
plant.
expanding.
So, yeah, that was
Yep.
good.
So they have that team that over the next couple of years they want to expand that team, and they're
Hmm.
trying to get ahead of attrition as well. So they're trying to expand and backfill positions. They have an electrician. They have electricians for their power plant facilities.
Right.
They have substation maintenance and transmission maintenance. They have linemen. They have underground linemen. They have gas division.
Hmm.
They have energy technicians, which is like a kind of a first responder crosscraft. They do gas and electrical.
Oh, okay.
But along with that, Pico has uh, electrical lineman
Hmm.
apprenticeship. They have underground lineman apprenticeship. They have gas division apprenticeship. I heard talks of possibly doing a substation electrician apprenticeship. So they have four
Wow.
apprenticeships within themselves.
I need to talk to
Um,
somebody, man. I need
dude,
someone to come to my class,
on
talk to these guys. I got seniors that are really good. I think they'd be amazing work team rates. I just don't know how to get them
yeah.
at least into that world, or at least no. I need somebody to talk to my guys. You know what I mean?
Well, tell them, and I don't want to
No,
force
you.
work
We'll
down
talk
anybody's
later.
throat.
We'll
'Cause I
talk
don't think.
later. You know.
Well, I don't want anybody to grow up too fast. But
Right. Right.
if you can encourage them to set up LinkedIn accounts,
Okay.
Indeed accounts,
Well, I'm
stuff like
fixing the
that.
resume, so all right, that sounds good.
It's business social networking, but LinkedIn in particular,
Hmm.
Exelon posts on their own portal and on LinkedIn. They only post in two places that I know of. It's
Okay.
LinkedIn and their own portal.
Right.
Um, but they're hiring in January and they're hiring in March.
Right.
So they're reposting jobs in January and they post their apprenticeships in the beginning of March. So they'll post their gas division apprentice, they'll post their lineman and their underground lineman. They start those in March.
Start them,
So
or
they
they
get
just post
hammered.
them, or they post
They
them, or they
post them and I think
start.
they post and then I believe they start in the summertime. But
Okay,
they
because my
have
guys
it's
will
another one.
graduate in June. All right. Okay.
They have helpers. They have electrical helpers they hire. So
Mm-hmm.
like bottom tier is like $19 an hour. You'll the physical job description is helper,
Okay.
but you're in the company. Then once you're in the company, you can navigate and
Mm-hmm.
get into the apprenticeship. And you can get into higher paying jobs, and
Man.
you can and dude like there's so many opportunities in just in that one facility that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the only one. It's all over the place,
Nice. That's what I want to
and that's
find
only
out,
going to get
man.
busier.
Yeah, because
It's
they
only going to
go
get busier because
a lot more work
all
opening
the
up.
AI.
Yeah.
The grid has to upgrade, the generation has to upgrade, the transmission has to upgrade. Everything in that pathway has to upgrade.
Yep. And someone
So
needs
that's
to
going to be
service
one of the
service all the new equipment going in, all the AI
yep,
devices, robots, until
yep,
they figure it out. But
yep.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But also like they have co-ops, they have
Okay.
internships, they have
Okay.
everything on both sides. If you want to be in the field, you want to get your
Right.
hands dirty, you want to be outside, you work in the snow, rain, sun,
Okay.
you can do that. If you want to be a facilities drafter, you want to be an electrical
Yeah.
drafter, you want to be, they
Okay.
have those positions too. They have so many positions. It's crazy.
That's amazing, man. That's good to hear
Yeah,
because we have a lot of what do you say? A lot of future for people, right? But
sure.
in this episode, what did we talk about? We talked about where the money's going. Uh,
Mhm.
about what else did we talk about in this episode? We also taled
Well,
about
so we could recap the money because we kind of
yeah,
bounced around. So
yeah, mm-hmm,
you're paying for a team of people. You're paying for estimators. You're paying for project managers. You're paying for people to do the job. You're paying for people to design the job. But then you have overhead. you have material costs, you have equipment costs. So that's another one a lot of people forget is like a lot of companies don't have their own scissor lifts. They don't have their own digging equipment. So
Okay.
there's a lot of expenses that go in with that that a lot of people miss also. So there's money disappears quick, but
Okay.
uh, if you have a good team, it's a lot easier to maintain and balance the checkbook.
Okay.
And a lot of these companies that I found out early on was that a lot of these big companies they estimate the job for $17 million. Say big
Yeah.
job, 17 million.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take out a loan. They'll take out a loan for 17 million. So they know the parts are paid for. They know the equipments are paid for. They
Okay.
know the workers, the workman's comp, the insurance. They know all of the over. Everything is paid for. They don't have to worry about it.
Right.
When the job is finished and whatever's left over, that's theirs, and then they pay off the loan with the latest disbursement of pay. So these bigger companies aren't waiting on the next installment of pay. They're taking out these mega loans, like, okay, I can just pay this all off when the job's over. So they're not doing
Okay.
this like me or you. If I get a $40,000 job, it's like, all right, well, I'm gonna need 30, I'm gonna need 30% up front because I don't have the money to put into that. I
Right.
don't I so smaller companies need money up front. These big companies that are just taking on $10 million jobs, like they're taking out loans or they already have deep pockets. So they're hard to compete with too, where it's like, well, I know I'm not going to get the first installment for 4 months of pay. I got to carry 30 guys pay scale for 4 months.
Right.
Now you're at $1 million in pay. It's like, man, like just take out a loan. You won't have to worry about it.
Right.
So
We
a lot of
also.
these bigger companies are, and then again, like that loan is insured money. It's like a credit card.
Mm-hmm.
It's insured money.
Yeah. Yeah. So we just talked where all the money came from. We talked about union, non-union, right? There's some benefits
Yeah,
with both. There's some negatives
sure.
for both. We talked about how the money is in construction. That they always talk about the biggest variable, labor, but as we talked, there's other factors that they don't always tell you about as laborers. And then other things we talked about is that estimate that job, and then career growth. Apprenticeships. Man, you did great talking about that. I'm gonna have to talk to my kids what you talked about. I'm gonna help that look into the future. Do you have anything else to add about this? Where the money's at, growth for people out there, how to find jobs, or how to help them before we end this? Any
Yeah.
tips?
Be diverse.
Okay.
I'm an electrician, but the company that I work for, we did concrete too, like not our own like finished concrete, but like if we had to cut out a sidewalk block,
Mm,
we'd pour and repair that sidewalk block. We did
yeah.
our own duct bank, so we'd pour our own concrete there. We did our
Right.
own housekeeping pads for transformers and switch gear.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned little steps of how to finish concrete in that same way too. So you can always keep an alternative outlet for a stream of revenue.
Right.
It's like I was an electrician by trade, but I would pour a concrete pad on a Saturday. And
Sidewalk.
that's another one that's yeah. So sidewalk's a big one, but
Mm-hmm.
concrete is a very cheap material, very high labor cost
Okay.
because the concrete's cheap, the wood's cheap, the
Right.
rebar is cheap,
Right.
but it's going to take you 10 hours to pour and finish that concrete. So it's all labor and a little bit of material there. So
Right.
that's a very labor extensive bid, which is like, all right, well, I think this is going to take me a whole day with two guys. Like, no, it's like, all right, well, if it's a little bit colder today, the concrete's not going to set up as fast. So there's a lot of variables, but concrete's a very low cost of material, very high cost of labor. So it's a
So
good
be
side job to
diverse.
have, especially yeah, be diverse.
Be diverse.
Diversity is the best thing.
All right.
And what a lot of companies right now are looking for is like they want someone that knows HVAC and
Yeah.
electrical. In our
Right.
world, it's two different things, but they're looking
Mm-hmm.
for these cross craft, diverse people that can
Right.
change a bearing and they can fix an HVAC unit or
Mechanical,
work on a gas
electrical.
system.
Wow.
And
Right.
yeah, they want that.
Yeah.
But if you go to the right places, they're very well paid. Like Pico has one. I think the posting's still out right now for a facility, basically facilities maintenance,
Okay.
and they want HVAC and but it starts at 48. And I
Mm,
think that one tops out at 57, or their electrician starts at 57 and tops out at 70.
okay.
So they have if you go to the right places, you'll be paid accordingly, and the overtime's there.
One thing I
So
would
be
recommend
diverse,
is be
diversity.
humble. Be humble and always learn. You know, you have to be humble and
Yeah.
learn.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still learning today. You know, always want to be
That's what I
humble.
tell people all the time. I tell people all the time at work
Yeah,
or friends that I know, like
yeah,
if you know a better way than I do, I'm all in, dude. If there's
yeah,
a better, easier way to do this, it's more efficient, it looks better,
yep,
let me know because I want to know too. Or if I have a way
yep.
that I think that I know works better, or I was trained in a different way,
Hmm.
I have no problem showing somebody because if you know how to do it, that's one less thing that I have to worry about.
Yeah, makes it easier for me.
So
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't I
humble.
don't keep trade secrets. I don't keep trade secrets. I keep myself around people that don't keep trade secrets. We all try
Yeah,
to benefit and progress together,
yep.
which is another thing. It's being diverse, man. Be able to work in a team, but also be able
Team
to work by yourself.
and be
You're
able to
not
work
always
with the
out there with
difficult
somebody
people
else.
because you're not gonna be able to always work with
Yeah.
your friends. You gotta work with people that you don't like you have, I have.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just got to do it. You just got to
Like
do a
yeah.
job.
Even in construction, like you're an electrician.
Right.
Everybody hates the other trade. Like electricians hate plumbers and drywallers and
Yeah.
spacklers and painters.
Hmm.
Plumbers hate electricians and drywallers and spacklers, and everyone hates each other. But
Yep.
if everyone's there for one goal, is to get paid and get paid and get the job done.
That's right.
Just work together, man. Be diverse, be open
Yeah.
minded,
Right.
keep your quality up. That's the most important. Quality
Yep.
work gets return customers.
And work on your
Quality work
professionalism.
gets
Make sure you
yeah,
stay professional. I mean, there's times we can relax, but most of the time you got to be professional.
yeah, yeah.
But
If you're
yeah.
one thing to keep in mind is like there's a time for fun and there's a time to
Yep.
make money.
Yep.
Be professional.
At all times.
Especially if it's your own name, especially if it's your own name, or even worse, if it's somebody else. If I'm working under Sean's Tech Train Solutions,
Yeah.
I'm going to treat people with the utmost respect because that's not my name; it's someone else's
Yeah.
name and reputation.
Yep.
So not only would I ruin it for myself, I'd ruin it for Sean also. So you got
Yeah.
to always keep that high respect and high mind
Yep.
your p's and q's, dude.
Yeah. Put your
Simple.
attitude away, man. Put it stored away.
Yeah,
And then
swallow your pride. It's just
yeah.
you'll go much further if you can swallow your pride
Yep.
and just work well with people, man.
No, we're not saying brown nosing. It just means be professional, be respectful, and
Yeah,
then you can say your mind, peace your mind, but you got to be respectful about it. But
right.
yeah,
Talk to
that's
them like you would talk to your mother.
yep, yep. All right, man. This is all I wanted to talk about today. I think we talked. This was a good. I think this was a good subject for today. I appreciate you coming on, Jake.
Yeah, man, for
So,
sure.
Sean from Tech Train Solutions.
Jake Price. Jake Price does it. DIY and comedy, cool stuff. I think.
Nice, nice, and stay for the next episode. We'll tell you later what it is. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.